Welcome to the Dugout. I'm your host, Joseph Silva, and on today's episode, we are recapping a fantastic week of baseball. We had some of the best series of the year last week. We're going over what potentially has gone wrong with the Braves, and I'm going to give you a fantastic NL class to watch going forward. But if you're enjoying the content, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the Run the Plate Network. The NBA playoffs have been iconic thus far, and you got to watch the boys at ball. Break it down, because I am not missing that for sure. But who was missing was all the hitters against Tarek Skubal in the Brewers-Tigers series Game 1, because that man spun a gem. Tigers won that one 9-1, and he threw 7 innings with 4 hits, no earned, no walks, 9 strikeouts. A classic Tarek Skubal start. He pounded the zone, and the Brewers hitters just looked confused, like they were trying to solve a Rubik's Cube up there. They were that bad. Conversely, Tyler Alexander just did not have it. He only went 4 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. And offensively, the Tigers got it going early with Andy Ibanez and Dylan Dingler, each with an RBI double in the first. Justin Henry Malloy, contender for coldest name in baseball. He and Torres added RBIs in the second. Glaber added 2 more in the fourth, and it was basically out of reach. But Kerry Carpenter added a solo home run in the fifth, really just to twist the knife in Milwaukee. And I say this all the time, but this is the definition of a Chris Paul single, because Joey Ortiz hit an RBI single in the ninth to cut the lead to 9-1. But in Game 2, Milwaukee struck back, and they struck back hard. They won this one 5-0. Jack Flaherty, my beloved, he didn't have it. He went 4 2/3, gave up 5, 3 earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Just not the best start from Flaherty overall. Newly acquired Quinn Priester has been phenomenal for the Brewers, though. He went 5 innings, only gave up a single hit, no earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He dominated this Tigers lineup. In fact, all the Brewers pitching did, quite frankly. Offensively, though, Rhys Hoskins opened the scoring with a solo home run in the second, followed by a Garrett Mitchell sacrifice fly to make it 2-0. Joey Ortiz with a big RBI single made it 3-0 in the fourth. And my beloved William Contreras, with an RBI fielder's choice, followed by a Rhys Hoskins infield single to really put the game out of reach in the seventh. And in the rubber match, the pitching matchup was not necessarily the best. Brewers won this one 5-1. Kiter Montero only went 5 innings, gave up 8 hits, 5 earned, a walk, 8 strikeouts. He was dominant, but he just could not get the big outs in this one. Conversely, Jose Quintana looked absolutely like the 2019 Quintana, as he went 5 2/3, gave up 4 hits, an earned run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He really has found something since last year, and I'm glad to see he's continuing that with the Brewers. For scoring-wise, Oliver Dunn with a safety squeeze, a throwback, your dad's favorite play, got the scoring opened in the second, followed by a Christian Yelich home solo shot and a Rhys Hoskins 2-run bomb in the third, really putting things out of reach. Spencer Torkelson, he tried to make things interesting. He brought one back with a solo home run in the sixth, but Sal Frelick hit a solo shot of his own to answer right back in the bottom half of the inning. And overall, yeah, you didn't see Jackson Jobe or Casey Mize for the Tigers, but it just was not a good series for them pitching-wise. Yeah, Tarek Skubal did Tarek Skubal things, but you really needed a better start out of Flaherty. They didn't get it. Kiter Montero just could not get the big outs. Pitching chaos in the bullpen was phenomenal. We know this. That's how A.J. Hinch likes to manage his bullpen. But they just couldn't do it. And offensively, aside from Game 1, they just could not solve the labyrinthine pitching of the Brewers, because the Brewers just absolutely, they keep doing it. They find arms all over the place. Newly acquired Quinn Priester from the Red Sox. Jose Quintana continuing his renaissance. He started last year with the Mets. Their bullpen, they are the Tampa Bay of the National League, because they just find dudes. They look like they are perfectly fine. I may have oversold their demise, but they could potentially win this division. Tigers, I'm not too worried about them. It was a great series overall. Now our next series might be a contender for Series of the Year, honestly. This was so much fun to watch. We have Cubs Diamondbacks in Game 1. I want to let you guys know in my notes, I just wrote the word "we," because this was the game of the year, and I don't see any game topping it, quite frankly. Cubs won 13-11, And now you're going to think, oh my God, the starters must have been awful. Well, here's the pitching lines for you. Corbin Burnes went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, 2 earned, no walks with 3 strikeouts. Yeah, Corbin Burnes gave up 2 runs in 6 innings, and then the Cubs managed to put up 13. Yeah, it's going to get crazy from here on out. Colin Ray also looked fantastic. He went 4 2/3, gave up 5 hits, and earned run, no walks, 5 strikeouts. So let's get to the scoring summary. How did we get to this point? Well, it started off with a Carson Kelly 2-run shot in the second to make it 2-0 Cubs. Corbin Carroll makes it 2-1 Diamondbacks in the 5th with an RBI single. So it's, 2-1 going into the 7th. This is where things start getting crazy here, because Ian Happ hit a grand slam, and Dodgers legend, Michael Busch added an RBI single, and this game seems like it's over, right? No, because in the 8th, Eugenio Suarez answers with his own grand slam, and now the lead's down to 2. Now Gerardo Perdomo with an RBI infield single cuts the lead to 1, and you're like, okay, it's fine. And then he and Alek Thomas scored on a throwing error by Ian Happ, and now the Diamondbacks have the lead. But they're not done, because the not racist Lourdes Gurriel Jr., hits a 3-run shot, and now it's 11-7. And surely the chaos is over, right? But it's not, because Carson Kelly and Kyle Tucker both have 2-run shots, and now the Cubs are in front again, 12-11. And then Seiya Suzuki just had a solo shot of his own to make it 13-11, and oh my God, I'm exhausted. But both teams were not exhausted in Game 2 because it was another good one. It was 6-2 Cubs with Zach Gallen. He pitched fine after the second, but the first 2 innings were rough for him. He went 6 innings, gave up 7 hits, 6 earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Ben Brown, I'm going to call it a Ben Brown start because this is what he's been all year, he went 4 innings, gave up 3 hits, an earned run, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. Just not the best from him, but he's figuring it out as he goes. The scoring started almost immediately as Corbin Carroll led off the game with a solo blast of his own. Kyle Tucker and Michael Busch would combine to give the Cubs the lead with RBI single or an RBI triple from Tucker and an RBI single from Busch made it 2-1 Cubs in the bottom of the inning. Kyle Tucker then added another RBI in the second, followed by a Seiya Suzuki and Michael Busch back-to-back shots in the 5th, really put this game out of reach. And Tim Tewa had a big 2-run shot, or a big home run in the 9th to bring the game at least a little more interesting. And the finale was a duel. 3-2 Diamondbacks in 11. Merrill Kelly, he looks like vintage, or I shouldn't say vintage Merrill Kelly, but he looks like 2023 Merrill Kelly on this one, as he went 5 2/3, gave up 2 hits, an earned run, a walk, 5 strikeouts. He outdueled the Job of baseball, the way this man has suffered, but he's still a very good pitcher. Jameson Taillon, he went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and the scoring started with a Michael Busch RBI single in the 1st. Josh Naylor that would tie the game with an RBI single in the 4th. And then we'd get jack all for the rest of the 9 innings as this one went into extras. And it started with a Josh Herrera sack bunt to score Tim Tewa in the 10th. Yeah, bunting's back, baby. Your dad is so happy. But Nico Horner would tie it on an RBI single in the bottom of the inning. We go to the 11th, and Josh Naylor, future Dodger killer, mark my words on this one, with the go-ahead RBI single in the 11th, really put things out of reach for the Cubs. Diamondbacks would end up winning this one. And quite frankly, this was such a fun series. And we really learned a lot about both teams. As you saw, especially in Game 1, how resilient both the Cubs and the Diamondbacks are. The Diamondbacks pitching, though, really did a lot outside of Game 1 to try and limit this Cubs offense as best they could. The Cubs have been red hot. They've hit everybody from the Dodgers to the Rockies. They are absolutely firing on all cylinders. Kyle Tucker has been a huge addition for them. But the Diamondbacks, I called them the most complete team outside of the Dodgers, and they kind of proved it a little bit in this series. Like, yeah, they lost it, but the pitching looked good for a majority of the series. It's just, they had blow-up innings. I'm thinking the 2nd inning of Game 2, the 8th inning of Game 1. But aside from that, they really held the Cubs offense in check while scoring a bunch of runs in their own way. I think these two teams are really contenders to be the Dodger killer in the National League. They are so much fun to watch. ultimately series of the year. But speaking of my beloved Los Angeles Dodgers, we have what I call the World Series preview matchup because I said it would be Dodgers Rangers in the World Series this year, and it kind of lived up to that feeling because my God, every one of these games was essentially a pitcher's duel, and I love me a good pitcher's duel. The first contestants in the pitcher's duel arena was Yoshinobu Yamamoto versus Jacob deGrom in Game 1. Yoshi, I've been made fun of for that Cy Young pick, but my God, has he been absolute gas this year. He went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 10 strikeouts. The man was on fire to start this one and just did not let up. Jacob deGrom let up a solo shot to Tommy Edman to lead off the game, and after that, he locked in. He looked like 2018 deGrom. Yeah, I said it, because he went 7 innings, gave up 3 hits. The solo shot accounted for his only earned run. He walked 1 batter, struck out 7. deGrom may be back, baby. He absolutely carved through this Dodgers lineup and looked every bit dominant doing so. And in the 9th inning, Teoscar Hernandez would add a huge insurance run with an RBI single, followed by a Will Smith sac fly to make it 3-0 Dodgers. And of course, I can't talk about Game 1 without addressing the foul ball controversy in the bottom of the inning. Did it look foul? Yes. Was the ump about to raise his hands to call it foul? Yes, but on review, it was a fair ball, and even still, Muncy got the ball before the ump fully called it foul. So it was a live ball. And by the way, have we not learned anything from the 5th inning of Game 5? That you just run out everything, you hustle because you never know what's going to happen? But no, Josh Young's too good to run. Yeah, you guys deserve to lose that one. And then I deserved what happened in Game 2, quite frankly, because, yeah, that was not a pretty one for us. But Roki Sasaki, he might have arrived finally. He went 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Yeah, he didn't have necessarily the best strikeout stuff, but the Rangers were attacking him early and often. He really made good adjustments to kind of keep them off the fastball, really keep the ball in the yard, limit the damage they can do. It was the best start of his career, and I'm really excited to see where he can go from here because he has finally added that slider as a good go-between the fastball and splitter. If he can keep this up, Roki Sasaki will be dominant. But he was matched blow for blow by Nathan Eovaldi, as Eovaldi went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 earned, no walks, and 7 strikeouts. Again, like I said, these were pitchers' duels, and damn good ones at that. Kyle Higashioka opened up the scoring for the Rangers with a 2-run shot in the 3rd. Freddie Freeman answered almost immediately after with a 2-run shot of his own in the 4th. And my Bulldogs' favorite Max Muncy added an RBI ground rule double to make it 3-2 Dodgers in the 4th. And really, after that, it was dominant pitching up until the 9th, where Kirby Yates really has a good future as an Italian restaurant owner. The way he was serving up meatballs in that inning is Josh Smith hit a lot of deep fly balls, almost tied the game, but ended up settling for a double. And, of course, Adolis Garcia hit the absolute flattest fastball out for a walk-off 2-run shot, and, yeah, I deserved that. But in the finale, this was the pitcher's duel of the series. Yeah, the Tyler Glasnow did not go deep in the game. Blame that on leg cramps. He appears to be fine, though. He went 4 innings, gave up 3 hits, no earned, a walk, 6 strikeouts. Kind of starting to put together vintage Tyler Glasnow. Looked good in this start. But he wasn't even the best Tyler that took the mound in this one, as Tyler Mahle absolutely, pun intended, mauled our lineup. He went 7 innings, gave up 2 hits, no earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Dodgers just looked absolutely confused by what he was throwing out there. Mahle just dominated a very potent lineup, including a dad strength Shohei Ohtani. Congrats on the birth of your daughter. But yeah, Mahle was fantastic. So the scoring really came on a Freddie Freeman sac fly in the 8th, and the Dodgers bullpen locked it down from there. But overall, what we learned is these two teams have phenomenal pitching that can shut down some of the best lineups in baseball. Corey Seager, aside from that really, really loud out that Pages brought back in the 2nd, really didn't do anything of note in this series. Same thing with Mookie Betts, Mookie Betts, Will Smith. Like, a lot of the big names were just shut down in this series. really dominated by fantastic pitching. And if this is going to be the World Series, I think it's going to be a pretty damn good one. But we learned both these teams are good, especially the Rangers, because it's very hard to beat whatever mystical powers coming to the Dodgers at Globe Life Field, because the Globe Life Dodgers are something else. But speaking of the Globe Life Dodgers, they got those powers by coming back 3-1 from the Braves. And we'll talk about the Braves after a word from our sponsor.
Man, okay, LeBron hit my parlay. Let's get it.
Oh shit, he hit it?
Yeah, bro. Look at this.
I won $200. I tailed your parlay.
How the heck did you win $200?
I used Boom Fantasy. I used their pick and spin, spun the wheel, got 10 times my money.
Bro, you gotta hook me up.
If you use code RTP, you could get a risk-free bet up to $100. Let's get back to the video.
Yeah, we got to talk about the Braves. It has been a very rough start to the year, and it's just started with a really poor offense. They rank 23rd in MLB with 3.67 runs per game. They are way, way, way too home run dependent. They do not have timely hitting. They cannot hit with runners in scoring position. They cannot get on base. But they can hit ball far, so it's okay. And surely, the pitching would make up for that? No. Chris Sale, bad to start the year. 66 ERA plus, just does not have that Cy Young self in him. It is very rough to watch. But Bryce Elder has been even worse. He's got a 57 ERA plus on the year. And AJ Smith-Shawver, same thing, 89 ERA plus. They've all been disappointing. Really, it's Spencer Schwellenbach that has been carrying this rotation. We'll see what happens with Spencer Strider, if he can really bring back some of the magic in this rotation, add some length in it, just add another dependable arm, please. Because the offense is going to be playing like this. You need dominant pitching. And Sale and Elder, they are good, or Elder's a good pitcher. Sale's an elite pitcher when they're both on. If you can add them to what Smith or what Schwellenbach and what Strider are capable of, it's a very good rotation. They just don't have it. The bullpen has been decent, but if you look at their FIPS, they are going to be due for regression in a big, big way. I'm looking particularly at Raisel Iglesias, the closer. Yeah, a 3.65 ERA is fine for a closer. But if you have a 6.15 FIP, my dude, you should not be closing right now. But that's essentially what we're looking at here. But the reason why I want to talk about the Braves is we all know they won that World Series off vibes with Jock Peterson and the Pearls, and just everything that was going on with that team was just, they were a vibes team. And the vibes have been very much off. And yes, I am talking about the tweet heard round the world. Because for those of you who don't know, Saturday night, Jared Kelenic pulled a Manny Machado, turned a double into an out as he was just staring at that ball coming in the box, realized it was not gone, started running, and I mean running to second, got thrown out. Ultimately, just bad decision-making from Kelenic on this one. And, Snitker claims he didn't see it. He didn't talk to Kelenic. Kelenic had to go in to Snitker's office to take accountability for what happened here. And upon hearing this news, Ronald Acuna Jr., who is still rehabbing his torn ACL, tweets out, "If that were me, they would have taken me out of the game." Yeah, Acuna is pissed. I'm not saying there is a double standard in this Atlanta Braves locker room, but it very much looks like there might be a double standard in this locker room. If Acuna is tweeting that out, Kelenic does not get punished the way Acuna has been punished for this kind of shit in the past. Yeah, it's just not looking great in the locker room. I would not be surprised if Brian Snitker gets fired. Just something to change around the culture in this team, because it's just all off. Something needs to change in a big, big way. Is they have World Series aspirations every single year. The talent on this team has not changed whatsoever, but something needs to change, and I think it has to be Brian Snitker. And just to recap some of the other news that has gone down in the past week, on Friday night, MLB had its highest attendance for a Friday since 2008. It was truly heartwarming as a baseball fan, because baseball is back in a big, big way. The crowds are coming out. And this is including teams that play in cold weather environments. I'm looking at you in particular, Minnesota. And I love to see the fans are showing out. The game has grown in a big, big way. I love that we're bringing everything back. Go to a game, guys. It's so much fun. And of course, as I mentioned in the cold open, Max Fried retroactively lost a no-hitter. Because it was so wild on Sunday getting the MLB app alerts like Max Fried no hitter 3-7. Like, okay, I gotta watch the Yankees game now. I gotta see if Fried can do this. And then about 5 minutes later, the scoring retroactively changed from a Paul Goldschmidt error to an infield single. And it just kind of was so deflating and weird. And I've seen no hitters lost in a lot of weird ways. I've never seen one lost because the scorer fucked up. Baseball is a weird, beautiful sport, and I love it. Now, the series to watch this week has got to be Phillies Cubs, man. These two teams are in first place in their divisions and look good, man. And gonna get some good pitching too. Taijuan Walker versus Colin Ray in Game 1. Walker is 1-1 with a 2.29 ERA, 1.17 WHIP, and 16 strikeouts. He faces Colin Ray, who's 0-0 with a 3.32 ERA, 1.10 WHIP, 14 strikeouts. But we know Colin Ray is solid. He looked good as a starter. He just didn't give a lot of depth for the Brewers last year, and that's essentially what he's doing with Chicago. But Taijuan Walker, who saw 2017 Taijuan Walker coming back? I didn't. Phillies didn't. Looks pretty damn good if you ask me. Game 2, Jesus Luzardo. I was not familiar with your game, sir. I apologize. I thought he was going to be so bad pitching at Citizens Bank Park. No, he's looked dominant. He's 2-0 with a 2.08 ERA, 1.09 WHIP, and 36 strikeouts. He faces Ben Brown, the man who cannot go past the fifth for some fucking reason. He's 2-1 with a 4.57 ERA, 1.75 WHIP. That's your reason, and 26 strikeouts. And in the finale, the very, very struggling Aaron Nola with his 6.65 ERA, 1.66 WHIP, and 25 strikeouts faces Jameson Taillon, who's 1-1 with a 4.73 ERA, 1.20 WHIP, and 24 strikeouts. Not necessarily the pitching matchups I told you guys were going to be in that Dodgers-Rangers series, but these are some fun ones, a little bit under the radar, guys. Look at Ben Brown versus Jesus Luzardo. That should be a fun one. And offensively, I got to tell you about the big bats, man. They have been on fire to start the year. Of course, I'm talking about the lack of aura king himself, Kyle Tucker. He's hitting .302 with 6 home runs, 23 RBIs, 4 stolen bases on the year. Good for a 4.04 on base, 6.15 slug, 10.18 OPS, and a 1.18 OPS plus. Yeah, Kyle Tucker's getting $500 million if he keeps this up, man. He's so damn good this year. He's already put up 1.1 WAR in this brief sample of games. He has been every bit worth it for the Cubs this year. He's added a big thumper in that lineup, and that's really what they're missing. So they went from an average offense with a lot of good pieces, but no truly great ones. When they finally got Tucker, they became a great offense. They were putting up over 6 runs a game. It's not sustainable, but it's so much fun to watch. All because of a man named Kyle Tucker. Now, on the complete opposite end of the aura spectrum, we got Bryce Harper himself, and he's off to another fantastic start to the season. He's hitting .272 with 5 home runs, 14 RBIs, an identical 4.04 on base to Tucker, but a slightly lower 5.06 slug, good for a 9.10 OPS and a 1.55 OPS plus. What can you say about Bryce Harper, man? He has earned that redemption. He's walking at the same rate as he always has. The power is there. He's making good contact. He's doing everything right. It's a Bryce Harper start to the season, and I, for one, am going to appreciate it while I still can because him and Kyle Schwarber have really been the engines of this Phillies offense. Nick Castellanos does not have it anymore. The Pope, unfortunately, passed away yesterday, and Castellanos did not hit a home run. Therefore, he is washed. But let me know in the comments down below. Is anybody else washed? What series are you looking forward to the most? And did they do Max Fried dirty? Let me know in the comments below. As always, if you enjoy the content, subscribe to the Run the Play Network. Go ahead and leave a like. And don't forget on the way out, play ball.